Hello and welcome to another video. So I know a lot of you guys didn't enjoy the last Portal video, mainly because we didn't actually get to use the only Ryan that was in the deck. Unfortunately, Ryan is an extremely hard card to get every single time and to get it to work, and the times you do get it to work, to actually win a match can be quite difficult. You'll find you win a lot of matches without even seeing Rhino, which tends to be the case because it is just an extension onto a normal Portal deck, which isn't a big surprise just by virtue of how Electro-Magical Rhino works. So I do have at least one game in this video where you will see the Electro-Magical Rhino. That's such a mouthful sometimes, I'll just call it a Rhino. You will see it at least in the first match, which was quite a long one, and you get to see it go off quite nicely. Although the second match for this video, if we get there, won't have it, just because it is very hard to win a match with Rhino and have it all come up. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video, and we will get stuck right into it. And here is our game. This is the Rhino matchup with Cerberus.
Activate.
Not a shocking one. Shadow is not a surprising one to fight, honestly. You can pretty much anticipate what's going to go down with Shadow in rotation. Most of the time they're running some form of really, I would like to say aggressive, but I guess you could say it's a more mid-range deck, where they're using the new Legendary and other such cards to really bolster up Ghosts. So taking advantage of things like Mysterious Spirit seems to be pretty popular. I do want to give this kind of deck a go in the future. I just really will need to pull the Shadow Legendary before I'm able to do it. So fortunately for us, though, this does mean that as long as we can control the early game, we should be able to pull off quite a long matchup. Which is why I'm not sure whether we'll have just this one game in this video, because it was quite a long game overall. And of course, the Bahamut drop, which our Puppet Strings is pretty decent to deal with. I mean, we get to deal with the Bahamut, take one ping to our 2-3, and deal with the 1-1 at the same time. That's why Puppet Strings is actually not a bad card, especially if you get in a Forest matchup. It actually is a really good counter to the Bramble's plays, because you are immediately removing their followers, which is great. And Lord Deathskull, the new Shadow card. Not a bad card overall. Definitely an interesting one. At least I think that was the new gold. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the new gold Shadow card, thinking about it. So we just go for as much kind of setup as we can, throwing artifacts in our deck. We already have Deus Ex Machina, which means we are set up to go for our lethals whenever we need to with it. It does really help pump the deck in this case, when you are looking for something like Rhino. Although it can be tricky to set up, because if you have Rhino in hand and then you want to play Des on 6, you want to make sure you're not going to discard your Rhino. So you want to make sure your setup is really nice. In this case, we've done fairly nicely with this setup. Our Resonance is going to go off this turn, so we are going to dump everything that's currently on our hand. We're only really losing the Saphira. Everything else, not that valuable to me. I'd much rather lose the rest and get a completely new hand. And there is our Rhino, right on time for a turn 7 play. You can even get away with an ancient artifact before the Rhino if we want to. So they are going for the Prince Catacomb Evo, probably a decent way to remove this 6-5. And of course the ambush is a little bit of a problem. But again, this match is going to go for at least a little while.
The gears of fate still turn.
And of course, we get our ancient artifact off first, because we can. And then our Electro-Magical Rhino. It already has a nice, reasonable stat line to start with at 4-7. And we remove both of these fairly easily. And dump the entire hand. Which, now that we've already got a Rhino, not a problem. You can pretty much infinitely play this now. Because you will gain 3 Rhinos every single turn. You're not going to be in Resonance every single turn. Meaning you can almost do Rhinos endlessly. As long as you've got a little bit of luck. And the more Rhinos you play, the more you're going to have go off. So Mystic Artifacts now basically costing 1 at this point, with our regaining of play points. which is a fair trade-off for me. Now, if I had have done this slightly better, I probably could have just used the substitution, although I'm not the biggest fan of this hand to start with. So I really wanted to be in resonance, which is why I sacrificed the way I did in favor of this. Plus, getting more artifacts in the decks makes our Rhinos even better.
You can get this one! You can get this one! You can get this one!
So they go for their trade-offs pretty well. Hitting my face is okay. We finally get an artifact Rhino, which is great. Luckily we have plenty of points and multiple excels now, which is an awesome way to go for this strategy. So I do a pretty nice setup, being able to just kind of Hamlin ram, and set up the artifact Rhino basically for free at this point.
Join me on a musical journey.
So right up to enough play points. And well beyond.
Again.
So there it is, our artifact Rhino. Because we want to be able to attack with it to get extra Rhinos into the deck. We did want to leave up that 1/1 this way so we could at least get that value. And getting the 2 damage to face is just a nice way to go about things. Of course, we did have to sacrifice our entire hand, but because we are aiming for Rhinos, that is not a big issue. Not at all. So they went for the they went for it here, of course, with the Odile. Not really great when you have a 5/6 Rhino on board because you can't trade with it anyway without losing your Odile, so definitely not their best move, of course. We have a really nice setup though. I mean, these biofabs are going to do a wonderful job with these analyzing artifact. And we can easily remove Odile. So I set up to get this artifact Rhino out. I wanted all of these on my board immediately.
Wasn't I good enough?
Without having to trade off my analyzing. But I decided to just trade off the analyzing anyway. Of course, that does put us back into resonance due to the artifact Rhinos. So it worked out pretty well. And since we packed our deck with even more artifact Rhinos, we had heaps going for this game. It looks like we probably will only be able to get this match in the video. But hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully this makes up for my previous Portal video. Again, I apologize that it didn't include a Rhino gameplay. I did mention it at the start of the video for anyone who was interested. And the deck itself did include Rhino. It's just a very hard card to get to pull off, and even when you do, it's not always a guaranteed win because it's very easy for your opponent to steamroll you unless you get ideal hands after it. See, for example, they just cleared out every single Rhino in the 1 turn they had, which is absolutely crazy. So our legacy gets us at least a nice play, removing everything. Although I can't use my Rhino, which sucks. I think legacy was worthwhile to remove the ambush there.
This song's for you.
This head can't be taken.
The Demon Lord coming down again. This way, just to get rid of the 6-drop. Like 6/6, so it's going to be absolute pain. But we can basically go Artifact Rhino and just kill off this immediately. And it's even nicer that we have Analyzing. So we are going to get some decent boost off it. So our 1 cost. And we just kind of go for it. We are completely free to discard all these cards and resonance up again for basically a full hand of Rhinos at this point. I'm unsure of exactly how many Rhinos we've thrown in this deck. I mean, between playing our Rhinos out and using the biofabs on Rhino twice, we've definitely stacked a lot of those into the deck, and I'm sure they make up majority of the deck. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they make up almost all of what's left in our deck. So I really just wanted to get another Rhino out, just kicks and gigs. I could have probably thrown another one if I really wanted to by going with a trade-off, but we ended up getting a very nice lethal to finish out this game. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do hope it makes up for the last Portal video. I do love the Electromagical Rhino when it goes off. It's just a very hard card to use, as I've mentioned before. Would I run it in every deck? Definitely not. Would I run it as a one-off if I'm going to run it? For sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button and subscribe. You'll find the deck list in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.